Google declares US sensitive country like China, Russia after Trump's map changes. Really not disputed, we have signed treaties with Mexico concerning this body of water. In every version it's called the Gulf of Mexico. Reclassified as a country with alternate reality. As I understand it, it means that Google will label the body of water between the Yucatan Peninsula and Florida as the Gulf of America to the USA audience, and remain calling it the Gulf of Mexico for everyone else on the planet. Trump to impose 25% to 100% tariffs on Taiwan-made chips, impacting TSMC Tom's hardware. Oh my god, this dude is going to make all electronics everywhere cost higher. Who would have thought that all it needed to ruin our already fragile world for good was a geriatric orange and its goons? Dear Florida man, nay moron, that's what the CHIPS Act was working to actually incentivize instead of you coming in after the fact and taking out the big stick to beat people with. No doubt after the fabs that are funded under the CHIPS Act are up and running you're going to claim it as a victory for your tariffs. Senator Ted Cruz is trying to block Wi-Fi hotspots for school children. Cruz, hotspot lending could censor kids' exposure to conservative viewpoints. Cruz's office alleged that the FCC program shifts control of internet access from parents to schools and thus heightens the risk of censoring kids' exposure to conservative viewpoints. You know, it's pretty interesting that access to information is considered censoring conservative viewpoints. They want to groom your kids into being conservatives. This should alarm every parent. Ted Cruz is what happens when your parents are brother and sister. Trump executive order calls for a next-generation missile defense shield. The White House bills this as an Iron Dome for America. It's a lot more than that. Healthcare, education, veterans care. Where's the money for that going to come from? New missile defense system. I'll take two. I'm hearing the Star Wars theme. Jeff Bezos deletes LGBTQ+ rights and equity for black people from Amazon corporate policies. Corporations have neither bodies to be punished, nor souls to be condemned, they therefore do as they like. Edward, 1st Baron Thurlow, 1788, Chancellor of the impeachment proceedings of Warren Hastings, Governor-General of the East India Company. Just remember, these are the same corporations that virtue signal by putting up black squares, changing to pride flag, etc. They don't actually support or care for anyone. Just whatever will get them more money. That's it. The epitome of rainbow capitalism. Corporations are not, and never will be, in favor of anything except extracting as much profit from people as possible. Trump wins and the masks come off. It's a good game, but you can only play so much of it. Listen, when Nvidia makes me be able to see the pores of my dwarfs in Dwarf Fortress, then I'll care. Once you did every ending with each of the 5 main build in both male and female, it gets a bit repetitive. Yes. It's one of the few games with all the RT features and also PT. Proton Mail says it's politically neutral while praising Republican Party. Yup. That's why I quit Proton. You can't say you're all for privacy while praising politicians who are directly opposed to it. Proton further stated that big tech CEOs are tripping over themselves to kiss the ring precisely because Trump represents an unprecedented challenge to their monopolistic dominance. Jesus Christ, Proton. Can you contort yourself any harder to deep-throat the boot? Democrat urges probe into Trump's vote-counting computers. Comment. Should have investigated this the week of, not after the fact, / Why are the 3 months between election and inauguration not spent going all the votes a dozen times over anyway? The highest office in the country, it should be recounted several times over by default. Yeah, I mean, the time to probe voting computers was like 2 months ago, or better yet. Maybe Democrats spend the last 4 years doing something about this alt-right movement taking the country over. OC guys, where do you pee? Reddit comments. Visualist. My cat got G13D a couple weeks ago. Door stays closed when I'm peeing now. Thank you. You are the r/Date's beautiful poster we need but don't deserve. Where's the stain I'm aiming for? This doesn't account for when you have a midstream sneezing fit and cover the walls and ceiling. This mod PC is insane. Does it run Windows 1895? The CD/DVD tray makes it look even older, /S. Meta is reportedly scrambling multiple war rooms of engineers to figure out how DeepSeek's AI is beating everyone else at a fraction of the price. AI CEO is the only thing we need to replace CEOs so companies don't need to pay them their salary or bonuses. That's some true value profits. Wait, they need engineers. Why can't his AI figure it out? WTF do you mean? They literally wrote a paper explaining how they did it, lol. Could it be that Zuckerberg's intelligence is artificial? Trump's tariffs could raise the cost of a laptop by 68%. A reminder to everyone touting US-made laptops, virtually every device is made using international products, and as such will be impacted. Apple's M-series chips are manufactured in Taiwan and shipped here for assembly. I will keep my laptop another 4 years. Facebook calls Linux cybersecurity threat and bans people who mention the OS. It's a cybersecurity threat when they can't install spyware on your system. Really twisting those words, lol. Linux is a security threat. Wait until they learn about Windows. Doesn't Meta use Linux in all its data centers? LMAO. NVIDIA cap so hard, bro. The AD gap is likely to be the worst out of the lineup, not sure about 10%, but either way it won't be the most attractive. At this rate, their next generation will be 20% bigger with only 5% more performance. I imagine giving them $250 and they can AI the rest of my money, shouldn't be an issue. All of their benchmarks and demos showed DLSS and multi-frame gen enabled when they made the 2x claims. This should be surprising to no one. I'm just waiting. Your job is secured until it gets to the level where if someone came along and asked it to create Facebook 2 with better features and it creates production code that is without any bugs and will continue to be without bugs with any new features that you can add the same way. Until then, it's just Google but sometimes smarter or dumber. We are still a long way up to being replaced by AI, and if at all you have fears at the moment, you are likely a pretty shitty dev that this is even anywhere likely. Like and subscribe.